In the News Center tonight, we have both Reese Colbert, host of the Reese Colbert Show, joining us alongside Denise Gitsham, the NewsNation political contributor. Denise, I guess I would start with you on this to say that the best hope, this is a 3-year extension, the Obamacare subsidies for people who want these subsidies to be extended, was that this would kind of set up a different compromise, right? Like,
right.
Because this one's not supposed to go anywhere. How do you see, what's the end game here as you see it?
Yeah, I just think that they're trying to do something, right? They're just trying to do anything to show that they care. This is an election year. You know, everyone, the backdrop of the reason this is becoming so important is because this is an election year and somebody wanted to move to do something. And I felt like everyone's feeling the pressure of doing something. The question is what? And I think that'll get taken up in the Senate. Unfortunately, we're going to see the same sort of political dynamics play out in the Senate because that's a critical year for them as well in elections. But I feel like the problem with the way that this was done is that instead of addressing this proactively, and I really lay this at the feet of my party, of Republicans, instead of addressing these issues of making healthcare affordable proactively, we allowed Democrats to take the narrative and run with it without ever offering any sort of real effort to compromise and come up with a solution. And when we did, to Democrats' discredit, they preserve their problem to use it as a political issue and hammer Republicans. So I think that there's enough blame to go around here. And I'm hoping that the Senate can break through with some reasonable heads.
Well, that's like a multi-year problem, I think, if we're being fair to Republicans. So
Yes,
go back to, repeal and replace, and you give Democrats, to your point, I think that's a good political point, you give them the opening because you don't come up and they can say to you, hey, you didn't have a plan. And guess what? They're right. You didn't have a plan. Right. So that does give the opening to Democrats. Now, Reese, on the Democratic side, what are they willing to accept, do you think, as a compromise? Let's assume, for argument's sake, that the 3-year extension that's passed is not what the final measure is. If you're Democrats, do you say, all right, let's do something else? How far do we really want to push this? The politics versus people, paying more for health care?
Well, I think the onus is really on the Republicans to compromise. Democrats have only asked for the status quo. It was Republicans that stripped these subsidies out of the big, ugly bill that they passed. The Republican plan for healthcare has been stripping away billions of dollars from Medicaid and from Medicare. And so that is what the Republican plan is. It just doesn't happen to be solutions for the American people. And so Republicans have to drop some of their ideological wars and fund these subsidies so that people can afford healthcare. That's really where the compromise needs to lie.
One more thought on this, then, Denise.
That answer is the problem. Everyone understands that Obamacare is broken, even Democrats now. Everyone is conceding this issue. And to say that the answer is to merely extend it for another 3 years when this is precisely these subsidies that put Americans in the position that they are today where they cannot afford it is not the answer. It is the political answer.
Obamacare is the reason why we had record low uninsured. It's the insurance companies that need reform. Republicans don't have a plan for insurance.
Well, then why don't you say that? Why would you want to extend the existing problem and make it even more unaffordable in 3 years? See, this is the problem, Connell.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Fine, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Let's focus on the insurance companies then, right? Reese brought that up.
Absolutely.
The president brings it up all the time.
Why are we talking about the insurance companies?
Well, the President Trump, in fairness, does talk about it, but it's not specific.
He does.
It's not specific, though. It says, oh, let's get the money to the people. But to your earlier point about plan, you need something specific. What does that mean? How does the money get to the people? Denise.
Well, Republicans, and this is, again, I put it at their feet because this was stuck in a think tank somewhere, but the direct payer model where you actually give the money to individual Americans instead of allowing insurance companies, which, by the way, United Healthcare made like $24 billion in profits last year. They started before Obamacare at $4 billion, and now they're at $24 billion annually. So everybody in Washington, look, I worked there in Washington, D.C. for 25 years, and I was in D.C. as a resident when Obamacare was written, and it was written by the healthcare insurance companies. So if you understand anything about lobbying, and as a former lobbyist, and at the time I was, I can tell you exactly who was sitting at the table. And you just look at the giving from the insurance companies, and I can tell you there's nobody in Washington who's confused as to who's profiting at the expense of American
about who's confused, right? But what to do about it is the argument, right? So then let me take that to you, Reese. Do you have different ideas or suggestions if you also seem to agree that there's an issue with insurance companies? So how do we solve the issue?
Well, I think that number one, you have to expand access. You have to make it more affordable. We have a for-profit insurance system in this country. You can go to single payer, you can do Medicare for all, you can do a number of things. But the reality is that Republicans have had multiple trifectas in the past 15 years to solve this, and all they've done is pass more tax cuts for trillionaires. And so I think it's a little bit of a cop-out to talk about Obamacare being broken when President Trump has been president with the Republican trifecta now in two separate terms and has done nothing about it, and still does nothing about it.
Well, it is an answer, Denise, in some ways. It's an answer that you're not going to ideologically agree with as a conservative, right? Because those are basically saying that, we want more government, right? We want Medicare for all. Republicans are never going to sign on for that. And one of the problems for Republicans, it seems to me at least, Denise, here, is that they are ideologically aligned more with business, and business is insurance. So they need something else, right? You need something else, a different way to do it.
Republicans didn't side with the insurance companies to write Obamacare. I promise you that. Okay, that's not true.
But now they need a new plan to
well, of course, and they have
your earlier
multiple
point.
plans. You can look.
Where's
I live in
Trump plan?
California
Where's
now.
Trump care? Where's Trump care?
I live in California, and it is twice as expensive to get health care in California as it is in Idaho. All you have to do is all you have to do is introduce interstate competition and allow people in California to buy health care from Idaho. We have proposed that. Republicans have proposed that.
You guys are in charge. Do it.
We can't, as you know well, we cannot do it just on our own. We actually have to have a full consensus, and you know that there are people who are just going to vote. And same with the Democrats. Why didn't you fix it if you knew Obamacare was structured that way? That's not the answer. We all have to work together, and I believe that there are enough thoughtful people on both sides of the aisle that can say, look, if what we're trying to solve is that we're trying to make healthcare more affordable, there are objective, evidence-based solutions to this that we can implement regardless of political ideology, and I think that's where we're going to end up in the Senate. That's what I pray for the sake
I'll leave it there for now. I like the back and forth. It's obviously something we've been doing for years on this issue, which is part of the issue and the point. Reese and Denise, thank you.